Hello, my angels. Welcome back to my channel. Long time, no talk. Am I right? My God, I feel like we have so much to catch up on. I very recently released my poetry album, Metamorphosis, and because of that, I took a little bit of a break from YouTube, so it's been a minute since I've, chatted with you guys and made just like a normal quote-unquote YouTube video. And to be honest, I don't want to leave the house today. I get in these modes sometimes where, and it's usually whenever I'm having a lot of inner self-reflection, but I just want to hole up in my house and kind of go into hermit mode. And at the time of you watching this, it is actually the autumn equinox. At the time of me filming this, we're not quite there yet, but to celebrate the autumn equinox, or to kind of just call in this new season, this season of harvest for me, I'm really setting my intentions for this autumn to be one of harvesting and to be one of, reaping what I've sown, or at least I hope. I'm calling in a lot of things. Sometimes whenever I'm manifesting things, I like to reflect the crave for change and reflect the new beginning I'm seeking in different ways, whether that's through my art or in my living space, for example. So today I really want to rearrange and redecorate and completely revamp and spiritually and physically cleanse my altar space. Now, I live in a micro studio, so adding more space to my witchcraft area isn't going to be necessarily easy. I bought a few more shelves. My collection of witchcraft goodies and spiritual stuff is just growing exponentially. I'm definitely growing out of this apartment, so me turning on my autumn oldies playlist so I don't absolutely lose my mind halfway through cleaning out my altar. Okay, just to show you guys the current state of my altar space. This is my craft table that I usually just keep like in storage, but I think I want to slide this table in this area. I still have a box full of CDs and shipping things, so I'm gonna organize that. I'm gonna go through all of this stuff. I'm gonna take everything off the walls, completely reorganize it. I have like boxes of herbs and tarot cards, and I have boxes of all kinds of incense. I have this new shelf that I thrifted that I'm going to hang up as well. I've got a few new shelves actually. This might not work. This very well might not work. This table might not fit. It might look too crowded, but I'm gonna try and see anyways. Oh, hello. Hello, it's the autumn equinox. The autumn is Sirius's special time, but he doesn't even know it. I found this scarf that's very whimsy goth, Mazzy Star, slay. It's this gorgeous, deep, mauvey, purplish, reddish color, and I'm gonna use this as an accent to decorate. I also get so many gifts from you guys, like at my live show in LA. The Metamorphosis live show is also available to watch here on this channel if you're interested, but I got lots of gifts from you guys for my altar, so I need more space. So cute. You're so cute, Bobby. And I think with, so much change going on in my life, or at least internal change, I don't know, we're gonna get into it today in this video, but yeah, happy autumn equinox. Maybe you can, while you're playing this video, maybe you can organize your altar space or do a refresh. If I'm trying to call in moving into a nicer, bigger, more functional apartment, maybe I can start as a form of manifestation, start by trying to revamp the house I currently have into a place that feels more comfortable, a place where I feel like my inner world is reflected, and a place where I can really expand on my spirituality, because I feel like lately, more than ever, I've been really connected to my spiritual side, in the sense of going through a bit of a healing journey, and I wasn't really expecting to go through another healing journey. Sometimes whenever we go through one healing journey and we get to the end of that road, it's like we don't foresee another thing that we have to heal until it happens, until it gets triggered, until it gets brought up. And I think with the release of Metamorphosis, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting when I released it. I don't know what I was expecting it to turn into once it went into the world, but I've found that the release of my poetry album has actually really caused me to go inward. It brought up some wounds in me that have not been fully healed or fully taken care of or fully nurtured, and I think a lot of those wounds have to do with external validation. And not that I had super high expectations of the album's performance per se or the album's impact, but I think what I wasn't necessarily fully expecting, or what I didn't think about, was the backlash of going in a more artistic direction in my content. I wasn't expecting that to the degree that it's been, and I've taken this opportunity of receiving this, I don't even want to say it's backlash, it's more just like people don't want that from me. And this is me just being really vulnerable and real. And this is what happens when I hole myself up in my house and I just have the walls to stare at, and I'm just sitting here thinking about everything ever and reflecting on every art piece I've done and reflecting on how I view myself and where I gain that validation. And I think one of my biggest battles in this life, one of my soul's biggest battles, is letting go of the outcome of things, letting go of external validation, and only being proud of myself because I accomplished and put out a project, not because people love the project. Does that make sense? I think that the release of this project has really called me to have a refresh, have a restart in how I view myself, have a restart in how I view my art and my life overall, and how much value I put on certain things. And I think that I wasn't fully aware of it until I released this album. Welcome back to my normal my normal YouTube schedule. It's something I'm very proud of, and it's something I'll be proud of forever. And I think because the nature of the project was quite vulnerable, it's like I released it out into the world, and all of my baggage that I wrote about in that album went with it. A part of my story went with it, and that shedding process was a lot. And I've been very emotional and very introspective and wanting to just kind of hole up in my home most days. That need to go inward doesn't come from nowhere, and I'm not always in this state. But these days, I don't know, I just feel like I have a lot to think about. I've never done a vlog like this either, like a cozy home vlog, or me not leaving my house, because part of that self-worth and that self-image is thinking that I'm too boring to do stuff like this, or that I'm not interesting enough if I just sit and talk about what's going on inside my head. And I don't know, maybe I'm breaking that chain today as well. Maybe I'm, kind of shattering that illusion of self with making a home vlog anyway. And if it, not being so hypercritical of myself. I've just found that hypercritical voice has really been amped up, and my response to that is to quiet it. And how can I quiet it other than face the things that scare me a little? And one of them is being vulnerable on the internet. And you might see what I've been doing and be like, what are you talking about? Like, what you've put out is so vulnerable. And it is, of course, and I find it much easier to speak in symbolism and sonnets and metaphor than to just be honest and be like, hey guys, I've been struggling with my self-worth. Hey guys, I've been, struggling with external validation and how much it means to me and how much it shouldn't mean to me, and that I'm not perfect, I think I always want to put my best foot forward on the internet, and I've done that for the most part. I think I've just definitely have a fear of being so real with you guys, in the sense of me still healing. The healing journey never stops, and I feel like a lot of people on the internet have a tendency to look to me as like a beacon of hope in a lot of ways, or at least that's what I've been told. A beacon of what a healed, like happy, fully fulfilled, authentically aligned person looks like. And I do think I'm that for the most part, but I'm definitely far from perfect. And I'm excited to get back onto my normal YouTube schedule, but at the same time, there's just a small part of me that's wondering what's coming next. Is everything going to just go back to normal? Was the release of my project ever going to start a new beginning? Does the new beginning start with me? I think that's the question, and I think whenever I get so jumbled up in my brain, wondering what's going to happen next, I like to take change into my own hands. And this type of introspection and this type of change I'm looking for is to feel more spiritually held, to feel more connected with the present reality, with the truth. You know, the truth is that I am authentically aligned. The truth is I know that in my soul, I know what I'm doing, what I'm meant to do. And if I regress, if I lose people on the journey, if people jump ship, if I get misinterpreted, if I get misunderstood, then that's just outside noise, and it has nothing to do with me. And really, really just detaching from what people think, hell-bent on misunderstanding you. And that's okay. It's okay to be disliked. I think that is what I'm repeating to myself. That's a lesson I'm trying to absorb, that it's okay to be misunderstood. It's okay to be disliked. And with this autumn season and with going into this harvest, I think with the weather changing as well, I'm always called to go inward and kind of reflect on the spring and summer. For some reason, I feel like springs and summers in my life are always super busy, and then autumns and winters, everything slows down. I go inward, I reflect, I heal, I try to be better, and then I take on, you know, the next season hopefully with a little more strength and a little more self-awareness and self-love, and really harnessing that self-love in times of pushback, in times of public dislike, in times of being misunderstood, in times of not reaching who you're trying to reach. You know, it's hard. There's so many voices, there's so many opinions, and really filtering that in one ear and out the other, for me, I think is my goal for the autumn. And I think redoing my whole altar space is really going to bring me like some sense of newness, which I think is what I'm craving. I am tired of my old way of thinking. I'm tired of my happiness, giving away my happiness to people, to strangers, and doing my art anyways, doing my art regardless of anything else, because I'm so happy doing it. As Fiona Apple once said, I know a sound is still a sound around no one. So now that I've rambled about, I don't know what I've even rambled about in this video so far, but I'm excited to redo my altar and just clean everything out, spiritually cleanse everything. I'm gonna rub Florida water on absolutely everything. I'm going to cleanse all of my crystals and just have a whole new energy in the place where I go to pray, and the place where I go to practice the craft, the place I go to connect with self. You know, that is kind of how I view my altar. It's my place to be introspective. So if I want to have a healthy inner look on my inner world, then I want to harness a space that feels really special and authentic and welcoming and warm and spacious enough to do what I want to do. And to be honest, I just don't have enough space in my current altar setup to do the type of things I want to do here. A whole new chapter. I just feel like there is a new chapter in my life. Even if my external world looks the same, I internally feel a new me emerging. Call it frontal lobe development, call it spiritual awakening, call it what you want. Just really feel called to just be nicer to myself. And I know a lot of you have written me many messages over the years, and I know you relate to wanting to harness that self-love, wanting to harness that self-validation, wanting to create things authentically and so true to your vision without worrying about others. You're not alone. I struggle with the same exact thing you do. Even with, you know, however many people watching me, that feeling doesn't go away. The work is inward. It's nothing you are given materially. No amount of accolade is going to erase the wound. The wound has to be healed consciously, and that's what I'm doing. So I hope you related to that in some way. I hope it made at least a little bit of sense to you. Thank you for being cozy with me today in my autumnal vlog. Okay, now that my altar is finished, and that took way longer than I thought it would. The sun is already going down. I really wanted to read my book today, but first, before I start to unwind and read my book, I love autumn for reading. Like, autumn is the reading season. Well, every season is reading season, but especially autumn. I wanted to go ahead and make this lover's tea. This lover's tea was gifted to me by a subscriber, and it can be used to drink with a lover or by yourself to harness that self-love. And just based off of what I was talking about earlier today, I don't know, I just want to do something nice for myself and make a pot of this self-love tea. Of course, we are using some moon water to brew this up and set our intentions, adding a little bit of honey for sweetness. Okay, I only have about 30 minutes until Caleb gets home, and he did mention wanting to watch a Halloween-ish adjacent Tim Burton film tonight. I'm gonna try to convince him to let me watch Corpse Bride. Either way, we're gonna have a little movie night, so before he gets home, I want to try to sneak in another chapter of reading. I'm currently reading The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller. This is a dark gothic fantasy mystery, and I am thoroughly enjoying it so far. It's very dark in its subject matter and in its writing style, but it is incredibly fascinating, and it is perfect for the spooky season. I love a good gothic fantasy. That's one of my favorite genres, so. The Bone Orchard. I'm on page 192, so I'm about halfway through, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm curious to see where it's going. I was in a reading slump for a bit, but